We've got Fatma Ghali and Amina Ghali are
Yes.
with us, and we're going to be talking to them because they've just been literally, this was what, a couple of weeks ago?
Yes.
Ranked at number 5 in Forbes most influential women in the Middle East magazine, blah, blah, blah.
Yes,
Okay.
and we are here to talk to them
we
about
thought
it.
that is absolutely amazing. We do a thing that's called Inspiration Women, and what could be more inspiring than these ladies?
I have no idea. I cannot think of anything more inspiring.
Neither can I. So we've got them on the phone. Fatma, Amina, are you there?
Hi,
Hey, how are you doing today?
we're good. How are you?
We're great. We're super excited about having you on the show. To be honest, Azza Fahmy is a brand that now we all take pride in associating ourselves with. Where when you meet somebody like a foreigner somewhere and you're like, yeah, I come from the same country.
Yeah, exactly. Now, we know you're all the way in Sahel. Hope you're having a fantastic time. We're not jealous at all, by the way.
Slightly. We're a little bit jealous.
Stop it, Sarah. We're just,
I'm just honest.
we're just going to keep our fingers crossed that maybe we might have a weekend. But ladies, we want to know how you feel about this. How does it feel to be 5th place on Forbes Middle East Most Influential Women? Did you see this coming?
Okay, I'm actually been laughing because every time you say fifth, Fatma keeps pointing out third.
No, we found out it was, third, fantastic.
That's even better. Okay,
That's
you know
even
what?
better.
It's even better, and it's something even bigger to boast about, to be honest. Yes,
Yeah.
third on the list.
Third, ladies. It keeps getting better and better. So how does it feel though?
It's actually incredible. Even though we've known about it because we did the Zoom interview during the lockdown and everything, but actually when the magazine comes out, it still takes you by surprise, and there's like a really proud moment. Like you look at the magazine and you're in awe that you're on this list with these incredible women who are doing super duper stuff, and it's very emotional actually.
And I think it was also, there was like a double effect with Azza was actually chosen to be the cover image.
Mm-hmm.
So it was really nice. I mean, it was a great recognition after quite a long and challenging and fun journey.
I get, and it is amazing. Speaking about, not only are you as women now iconic, also it's beautiful because you are also inspired very much by the culture and Egyptian women in general. And we've been paying homage to a lot of the most iconic Egyptian women like Kulthum and the most beautiful actors and actresses, local and international,
Yeah.
have been wearing Azza Fahmy. So it is a very influential moment for women across the globe and especially in Egypt.
Now, I've got another little question for you because you all work together, right? And I'm
Yes.
pretty sure you know this question is coming, okay? Now, how does that work? I mean, when you're sitting there and you're working with other members of the family, and we all know, like, most of our time growing up, we want to get out of the house the minute that we wake up, right? But then suddenly we are working together as a family. How does that work? Have there been, moments when you guys have butted heads? Are there moments where you kind of feel like, oh my God, we're really on the same kind of rhythm? It's easier to communicate. What goes on there?
It has its pros and cons. So it has its upside, which is very much the united vision. Your heart is in one place, and you're all working towards the same goal. But again, obviously, it has its challenges because it's very important to separate the business from the personal.
Yeah.
And I think it took us a while, and I can't say that it's just a straight line up. It's a curve that goes up and a bit down. I think we're generally on a positive trajectory. But I mean, we've had to learn at a very early stage to separate our personal life from our work life, because it's very easy to even without any issues, but end up talking about work all the time.
Of
For
course.
example.
Mm-mm.
So, having to go home from the office and then you sit at the dinner table and then you're still continuing the conversation, which doesn't give you a time to disconnect. So, I mean, we were quite conscious after a while to say, okay, you know what? This stays here and this stays here, especially when there's conflict, for example. So you want to make sure that if there's conflict at home, it stays at home and it doesn't come into the office.
Mm-hmm.
And where it's in the office, it doesn't go at home. Of course, it sounds very easy saying it, but it's not as easy practicing it. But I think we've gotten to quite a good pace, and and a healthy spot. The other thing I think that's very crucial is having very clear roles and vision at the organization. Because then it becomes, that's my job or that's your job, or you know what I mean? And it's not just a vague, we're all partners, we all get to do whatever we want.
I think
that also creates a lot of issues.
I think drawing the line and the roles and responsibilities, I think it's pretty clear from what we understand is that Fatma is behind the growth of the business more, and Amina, you are more focused on the design part. Is that correct?
Yes.
that
kind of adding to what Fatma is saying, other than I agree with everything she just said, but I think one of the very key points as well is to remember that there is no ego in business. It's about what's best for the company and what's best for our vision. So you always, if you're clear about your vision, you always go back to say, is this in line with our vision or not? So even when there is a disagreement, it's not about how we are perceived personally. It's a question of, is this in line with the vision or not? And if it's not, then it's not. It's taken off the table.
Speaking of the vision, because that's a really good point, when do you think was a changing point for the brand, turning it from local to international? When did you feel like, okay, now is the turning point?
Yeah.
So it's
I love how they both just had a moment. They're like, well...
Never got asked this question. Actually, I can't tell. I think it happened gradually. I mean, for me personally, when I joined in the early 2000s. I mean, my mother has always had international exposure.
Yeah.
That was, I want to say, reactive in the sense of that people would see the products and they say, oh, wow, we love it, and then we want it. Mm-hmm. So she would go on exhibitions. She was at Liberties and Harrods in the late 80s, early 90s. So that's always kind of been there.
Yes.
But not in a planned way, if that makes sense.
So what you're saying, it just gradually kind of organically happened. Yeah.
Exactly. But then I think at some point, and that's probably when Amina and I were very much part of the business, we said, you know what? We see the potential. We have a very special product. We need to show this to the rest of the world, And so then it switched from being a reactive approach to a vision that's proactive.
I get what you mean. Sarah, you came, you brought this up, and I think it's a very interesting thing, them being, third place, in Forbes,
yes.
At least.
We wanted to ask you now, after this nomination, how do you feel how would this affect the brand, and how do you think it will, what would it mean for the brand moving forward?
Exactly.
I'm not sure it affects the brand. I mean, it doesn't change things for us.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful recognition. However, I think our vision remains the same and our direction remains the same. Do you know what I mean? So it doesn't really change things. I mean, we've been carrying that vision of creating this international design house that we're working towards day in and day out. So that remains our vision. And I mean, part of what we're doing and expanding into these at this point in time is we're expanding the brand beyond jewelry. So I don't know if you've heard, but we've launched our first concept store in Sahel.
Okay.
Yes, I've
see that brings us up to this. I mean, what should we be looking forward to from Azza Fahmy? That is what we want to know.
And I know this concept store has a brilliant idea. Would you like to tell us a little bit about it, because it's so brilliant?
It's actually something that's been in the pipeline for a very long time, but it actually came organically because we started doing all these collaborations with Ismat Mahani from Cake.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we said, let's do a pop-up store in Biplo where we collaborate with Ismat, but not just take the regular menu from Cake, but actually do a menu inspired by our family. We love the local flavors. Every time, if you ever come have breakfast or lunch in our house, everything is always very different, very authentic.
Well, if you're inviting, we're
there.
We're there. Like, no problems over here.
So we wanted to have that kind of flavor as well within our coffee shop, and not just have everything the same as every other coffee shop. And we did the collaboration with Sam Gallery, the Art Smart, where we also gave them 3 themes: Mamluk, calligraphy, and pharaonic inspirations. And we said, why don't you get inspired by these 3 themes, which have been a huge source of inspiration for Azza Fahmy. And we let every artist just do whatever it is that they want to do, and the result was absolutely fantastic.
That's amazing. I know that one of the key ingredients that you focus on is basically the experience. From the moment that you enter the store, it's about the experience. And now I can see that you are elevating that experience by adding more and more of the personality of the brand to the whole thing, and even going beyond the jewelry. Not only jewelry making, it's the moment you enter, and it's the whole
full
world.
experience.
Yeah. So, what other key ingredients do you feel differentiates Azza Fahmy from any other brand that exists, whether locally or globally?
I think it's really the research and the culture. We really take so much time. I think for us, it's about rewriting cultures, or, you know, and like with certain collections, the pharaonic collection was 8 years in research and 3 years just for the model making and a year for production. So that's a 12-year timeline.
Oh, wow.
That's a whole lot of years going on there.
That's a lot of thinking into it.
My mother has a doctor's, actually PhD, because of her knowledge in the jewelry industry. And so we really take our time. The Ottoman collection took about 8 years. The Mamluk collection took about 4 years. So for us, I think it really puts us in a different category because it's very well researched. We've had Egyptologists who would come into our store after we launched our pharaonic collection and literally try to find one mistake or one thing that was off, or, you know, like we just spent so much time doing all of that. And I think the end result is worth it. I think that's what it goes back to the Forbes. We're always running. We're always running for our next project, our next vision, our next story. And sometimes along the way, we kind of forget to stop and pause and celebrate. And when something like Forbes comes along the way, it's like a good slap on your face, like pause and just acknowledge that you've got somewhere.
And celebrate. Just stop and celebrate.
Exactly. That's an amazing thing to have. Talking about that, though, what should we look forward to in a new collection? What's the new collection going to be looking like?
Yes.
Is there
sneak
a direction?
Peek. We want to get a sneak
direction
peek.
You guys are going in that we should know about?
We just launched our revival collection, which is inspired by ancient Egypt. Next year, there will be massive celebrations because of the discovery of Tutankhamun's tomb. It will be 100 years since Howard Carter discovered that tomb. So we thought, as an Egyptian brand, we have to kind of launch a collection inspired by ancient Egypt. But actually, also in the next couple of months, this year we're commencing the celebration of our 50th anniversary. So we have very, very, very special collection inspired by a lot of Azza's old iconic pieces. A collection we worked on for almost 2 years, kind of going through all Azza's archives in the last 50 years and just reimagining it all over again.
Oh, that's amazing.
That's brilliant. And are you looking at replicating the Sahel exhibition or gallery? This experience, are you looking into replicating it in other places as well?
Yes, we're definitely looking at rolling out with that concept in different locations. We're currently, we're in the planning phase of that and seeing where's the ideal location for that. But that's definitely in the pipeline.
That's
amazing.
Fantastic. Well, ladies, thank you so much for speaking to us today. It was an absolute pleasure.
It was lovely talking to you.
Thank you for taking the time. We're super happy to have you, and we're really looking forward to whatever comes next and more celebration, more celebratory moments for Azza Fahmy. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Enjoy the beach.
Yeah, enjoy the beach, and we're not jealous at all. You might find us in front of you at some point this weekend, but thank you. You have a fantastic day, all right?
Bye.
Take care. Bye.
NileFM.